What makes you think that I'm an answer if you ain't mine?
The biggest publisher in gaming, uh, right? And Sony has been trying to block that shit aggressively. Well, Sony might have fucked up. Sony might have fucked up, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Read this. 11 members of Congress argue Sony is unfairly hurting Xbox in Japan. Now, um, I I want to bring up another article as well. Because I believe, yeah, yeah. Actually, we're gonna go with this article instead. Um, U.S. Congress members accuse Sony of anti-competitive tactics against Xbox in Japan. Now, how this came about is a little complicated. So what happens is Sony Sony wanted to come after uh, um, Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and they created a new term, right? They called it high-end console. They called it high-end console gaming, right? And what they were trying to do, they were trying to exclude Nintendo because they tried to make it seem like it was just Xbox and PlayStation, and that the acquisition of Activision Blizzard would make Microsoft a monopoly and give them an advantage in high end console gaming, right? And so creating that term, they brought attention on themselves. Um, get this shit off my damn screen, man. Damn Kaiser Permanente, get out of here. They brought attention on themselves for look at this garbage, man. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. But they brought attention on themselves describing that, and basically they've had a bunch of they've been manipulating things behind the scenes in Japan so that Xbox cannot make way in Japan. As you if you know anything about the gaming industry, you know Xbox has always struggled in Japan. And I never even considered the possibility that Sony was possibly doing things in the background to prevent Xbox from making way in Japan. So, 11 members of U.S. Congress have signed letters raising concerns of anti-competitive tactics purportedly being used by Sony to gain an advantage in the Japanese video game market over its primary competitor, Microsoft. The two letters, which were signed by members representing both major U.S. political parties and obtained by Axios, were addressed to Ambassador Catherine Tai and U.S. Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo. Today, we write to bring your attention the imbalanced Japanese video game market, which we are concerned may be a result of discriminatory trade practices that could violate the spirit of U.S. Japan Digital Trade Agreement. Um, the statement noted that Microsoft had attained negligible 2% share of the high-end console market since it began selling in Japan in 2002. The lawmakers suggest that the 20-year failure to make inroads resulted in part from Sony's strategy of systematically negotiating to make popular third-party games PlayStation exclusive and paying to keep content off of Microsoft consoles. Our understanding is that the Japanese government tolerates a range of exclusionary conduct by their domestic companies that may violate Japan's antitrust laws, and that this inaction by the Japanese government harms the ability of U.S. companies to compete in the country. According to a second letter signed by members from the state of Washington, which happens to play host to Microsoft headquarters, such practices could undermine the U.S. Japan Digital Trade Agreement. This agreement commits Japan to providing non-discriminatory treatment to U.S. digital products such as console games. Now, you heard what they said earlier, the high-end console market. That is a term that was used by Sony to describe the competition between them and Microsoft to exclude Nintendo. They did this to themselves, and now they're about to be investigated because the response from the Japanese, if I'm not mistaken, if I can get to the quote. The quote isn't here. The Japanese representative said something along the lines of, this is my first time hearing of this, but we're going to look into it. Now, does that mean something's going to come of this? Probably not. But the point is that in trying to stop Microsoft from acquiring Activision Blizzard, Sony shined a light on them damn selves for an investigation into malpractice in the market. And so, congratulations, Sony. You fucked it up. All for this just for the deal to go through. How do you look? All because you don't want to compete. And as I've told y'all before, if Microsoft ever decided to go all in on gaming, Sony would not be able to compete. And this is Microsoft's way of going all in on gaming. Now that does not mean that Microsoft is going to start dominating in the market. Just because they went and spent $70 billion on Activision Blizzard and $7 billion on Bethesda does not mean anything. You've seen what happened to Disney when they went and spent all that money to get Star Wars and Marvel. Oh, and by the way, Fox. They ain't did shit with Fox. So, well, that's that. Sony made their own beds. Let's see. Reed says, I won't even watch the episodes I missed. Henry got paid already. I won't pay them fools. Agreed. Honey says, video game news. That's right. Can we go over that Star Wars girls vampire cosplay? I'll take a look at it. I remember Sear Hinge for Japanese RPGs for Xbox 360, and it's significantly smaller than PlayStation titles. Yep. Yeah. She meant to say searching. They did the same thing with Red Dead, GTA, and The Last of Us. Honey says, I thought it's because Japan didn't like the bulky American hardware. But now they have the option of the Series S. And from what I can tell, from what I've heard, Japan actually likes the Series S. So let's see. Let's look at let's go to Discord. Because Reach wants us to look at the Star Wars girl. Messages. Happy Monday, everyone. New vampire cosplay coming along. Stay tuned. She's a very attractive woman. I can tell you that. But this is why, it's very important that we continue to grow the channel so that we can get people like her on the platform. Or in her DMs, whichever one works. Reed's trying to get me in trouble. Reed's just trying to get me too, y'all. Gosh, have we gone an hour already?
Let's go. Hey. Beat that thing down like you started attention, my baby. You had some plans with your man, just tell him to cancel, my baby. Slide to the crib, look like Dracula's mansion, my baby. When you pull up, it's on action, my baby. If these walls talk.